I was in Tulum earlier this year. I just like saying Tulum that way. It's kind of funny. Beautiful place, by the way, if you haven't been. It was February, and so it was just gorgeous, 80, 90 degrees, sunny. I live in Virginia where it was cold and rainy. It was just like an epic place, but I went for this mastermind retreat. Bunch of really, really cool people doing great work. And then yours truly, Mr. Misfit. So anyway, dinner the first night, sat next to this really nice guy, another coach. Um, I could tell, I had this. You probably have that ability too. You can just kind of look at somebody and read them and figure out if they're having a good day or not. And we're in paradise. It's a beautiful event, but I could tell something was heavy on his heart. So I just passed me the food and I said, "Hey, by the way, like tell me about your business and how things are going." And he said, "Well, I changed the way I do my coaching. I went from serving private clients and was very lucrative, but it ate up all my time. Moved over to kind of a group model, but I'm really having a hard time enrolling people. And so the money's a little tight right now." And I said, "Well, I can totally relate. Band of Misfits started off with me working privately with clients, and then I realized the power of creating a network and having teaching in the round. And so I migrated over, but it was a journey. And I told him, basically gave him hey, it's going to get better because it always is if you stay after it. Here's the point. I could tell he was pretty down and stressed out about money. And so I said, "Look, tell me about a recent time where you had a significant impact with your one of your members." And he looked at me and he got this big smile on his face, like he got electrified, like he'd stuck his fingers into a socket. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, this one guy that I worked with, he just reported back. He came in for coaching for his working in his company. This guy's a leader and hired this particular guy I was having dinner with for coaching inside of this container that he hosts." And anyway, his client messaged him and said, "Not only is the business going great thanks to this coaching, but my marriage has never been better." And this guy that I was sitting with in Tulum just goes on and on. And I said, told the guy after he had that great share and I complimented him. I said, that's the thing that I have to remind myself when the money hasn't caught up to my impact. So what I mean is what I think most of us are here for in this life isn't the money. In fact, I remember Steve Jobs. We all know Steve Jobs, Mr. Apple. The man died a billionaire, multi-billionaire between Apple and Pixar. He did very well for himself, but he never did it for the money. And I think most of us are wired that way too. I suspect you're that way too. The money's nice. We love nice things. Money buys a lot of stuff, not just material possessions, but freedom and a sense of safety in case, there's a rainy day and we need money to help ourselves or help people we love or know or even don't know. So I think most of humanity is incredibly generous, by the way. PSA aside, I said to this guy, I said, we live for the impact. That's really why we're in this expertise world of being a consultant or a coach. We want to help people. We want to use our expertise to help others, to be a contribution. And sometimes when we're building our businesses, or if the market takes a turn or whatever, the money is slower to catch up to us. But as long as we're having the impact and creating the impact that we want in our clients' lives, the money will eventually get there. It absolutely will. The greater the impact that you make in people's lives, the greater the monetary impact you are bestowed upon. And in those seasons where the money hasn't caught up to the impact, it's important to every day, as necessary, challenge yourself to say, what impact did I make today? What opportunity did I have to help make a positive impact in my client's life? And this works if you're a CPA or a health or a life coach. It's all everything that we do as experts has an emotional element attached to it. I mean, a great certified public accountant, like a really great one, creates a tremendous amount of relief and a feeling of security for their clients, right? Sidebar, I want you to think about everything that you do from the emotional impact that you make in your customers' lives, because at the end of the day, your customers, your clients are going to reward you for how they feel inside as much as anything. And that's exactly what this guy, the coach that I was talking to in Tulum, was saying to me about his client. It's like, yeah, my business is great. My marriage is even better than I ever thought it could be. And that all translated into this particular client of the guy that I was with in Tulum, his client having an experience where he probably didn't even know his life could be that great. And as a result of that impact and that contribution my friend in Tulum made in his client's life, the rest of the night in Tulum, this guy was walking on air. I mean, he was a changed person, all because I redirected his way of thinking about, are you successful or not? Instead of it just being about the money, which is important, but it's not everything. And sometimes the money takes a minute to catch up to the impact that you're making. So my encouragement, my invitation of you, Misfit, is take time today, this week, this lifetime, to reflect on the impact that you're making in your clients' lives and the kind of impact you would like to make moving forward. Combine revenue and impact, and you will be smiling and whistling and feeling so light inside, just the way my friend in Tulum felt after I shared this with him. All right, Misfits, see you next time.